There has been a Mimikyu leak going around the internet and people have been talking about it. People have been crazy about this. So it shows a Korokoro scan, but it's in Korean. Now this isn't Korokoro because Korokoro is Japanese only, so that throws me off a little bit that they made something in Korean, like a Korean magazine, and sort of made it look like Korokoro. Unless it's just a magazine scan and it looks exactly like Korokoro. It's just too similar to the Japanese Korokoro magazine, and that's what throws me off the most. But even if this is fake, it does bring up an interesting point, and that is Mimikyu's actual form. Now from the beginning, we knew that Mimikyu wasn't actually Mimikyu, so the disguise that it has going on, it brought that upon itself because Pikachu was really popular, so it wanted attention, and so it dressed up like Pikachu. So we know that that's not actual Mimikyu. Actual Mimikyu is underneath that, and it kind of makes you wonder, what is Mimikyu capable of? What does Mimikyu actually look like? What is Mimikyu's actual typing? Now I want you guys to picture yourselves in a fight. Now picture yourself in that fight with a costume on. Something similar applies to Mimikyu because it has this Pikachu costume on and it has to hold on to this wooden tail. If it didn't have to worry about any of that, wouldn't it be stronger? That's not really something you think about, but honestly, it makes sense. Aside from the Korean leak, we also have a confidential leak that shows Mimikyu in that same exact pose. I think it's actually the same art from the Korean leak, which makes it a little bit suspicious, but we're gonna go with it. It has many other different types of artwork as well, and we've seen this type of confidential sort of template with other leaks in the past that have came true. One of the things in the confidential leak, and even in the Korean leak, that stands out the most are the glaring eyes that Mimikyu has. And this is something that we saw in the Sun and Moon anime. I don't know if you guys are familiar with it, but for the first few episodes, or in the first few episodes, there was an episode where Mimikyu came down with those glaring eyes and scared the hell out of Team Rocket. I don't remember if it was Team Rocket or not, actually. I'm not remembering the episode correctly right now, but I do remember the glaring eyes in the anime, so that is something that is taken directly out of the anime. Now, I don't know if that's something that they would really put into the games or not. For me, I thought that the glaring eyes were just there because we couldn't see Mimikyu's actual eyes. I didn't think that those were its actual eyes. I thought that that was just like, I don't know, something scary that Mimikyu was doing from its side, the shadow, because you couldn't really see the shadow, but this leak is basically telling us that the shadow is Mimikyu, the shadow with the glaring eyes, and those are its eyes, which is really weird. I never really thought about it that way, and I really don't think about it like that even now. But if this leak is real, then that's what it is, and I guess it's nothing special. Mimikyu is just a giant shadow. We can even see in the confidential leak that Jessie is right behind Mimikyu there, and its eyes are red at this point, but it's battling Pikachu. And it's obtained a new form, I guess, and the Pikachu is sort of slanted, kind of dead. It's kind of weird, it's kind of creepy to think about it that way, but at this point, maybe Mimikyu, like this form is probably just, I don't know what it would be called, but at this point, I feel like Mimikyu is like, I don't care who I am anymore. I don't care if you know who I am, I don't really need you anymore, and Pikachu's just dead on top of him. It's really creepy to think about, but if this is Mimikyu's new form, where he comes out of his shell and he's stronger than ever, then I can totally see the symbolism of Pikachu being dead on top of it. There is something really interesting about this leak as well, and that is the next episode of the Pokemon Sun and Moon anime, which is titled Mimikyu's Disguise. This is coming right after the Iwanko and the Guardian Deity of the Ruins of Life episode, which is the Rockruff episode. Iwanko is Rockruff in Japanese. So this is really crazy because there's going to be a Mimikyu episode next week following the episode that revealed Dusk Form Lycanroc. And that's really interesting because the episode is named Mimikyu's Disguise, meaning that they're gonna go into detail about Mimikyu's disguise, meaning we could see Mimikyu's new form. It's a stretch, but the Pokemon Sun and Moon anime could be on a roll with the reveals, and maybe for the next few episodes, they're gonna do a lot of Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon reveals. I mean, it could definitely be a thing because it happened with Dusk Form Lycanroc. But let me know what you guys think about all this in the comment section down below. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you all next time.